Live from Alabama's anti-ESG unscented rose garden. Because, a scented rose is kind of feminine. No, it's not very manly.
But how do you unscent a rose garden?
It's an all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst whole Matt Moscardi. Whoa!
Yeah, whoa is right.
This copy makes it sound like this is my show, and you just join me every week.
It kind of is, though.
But I never say who I am, so it's almost like it's your show, though, too, because you're the only name. You're the only real name.
I'm the only one here.
Well, I've also noticed that whenever we're cited, it's always you cited. Everything is your idea. Which is fine with me.
It is.
Because that just means that you have to be on the phone talking to people, which is good for me.
I hate it.
In today's ESG-sized onesie called October 8th, 2024, Biz Nuggets!
Hey, let's be funny about the horrible, horrible headline.
Let's try. Our show today is being sponsored by Free Flow Analytics, the only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free. That's at freeflowanalytics.com. freeflowanalytics.com.
What are you doing if you don't? You just put in an email address. What are you doing if you haven't done that yet?
Look, I mean, I got to say that I'm a fan of the MSCI data set. We are a client of MSCI. We use a lot of their great data.
Great
data.
But
I got to tell you, when I need to get a quick look at a company, it's hard to go to MSCI. You gotta go find the company. You gotta open a PDF. You gotta scroll to page 479.A.5. Like, our data is really easy to use. Really easy.
The worst part about it is I have been a client at one point or another of MSCI, Sustainalytics, S&P. I've seen rep risk data. I've seen all the data. And MSCI is the best, and ours is still fabulous. It's free.
Ours is easier to use, and free.
If you care about, if you vote a single vote on a director, it's free. Anyway, continue. Let's do this. What are we doing?
Come on, let's try to be funny.
Biz Nuggets. Let's be funny.
Or at least interesting, or at least something insightful and sarcastic.
Be funny. Go.
Because it's 2024, and hey, why don't you just save on gas and buy a Chevy Bolt? It's just too damn complicated. Headline of the week. Ready for this one, Matt? Ready for this headline? Uber to launch AI assistant powered by OpenAI's GPT-4 to help drivers go electric.
Okay.
What? Is this peak technology? I feel like this is the tipping point of how technology helps nothing.
How big of a diaper do we need for these tech bros now?
I don't
like OpenAI,
I've had
Uber.
enough. I've had enough.
Why don't we just get one giant diaper and put them all in it?
Yeah, just read a Consumer Reports and just pick a car. How about that? Yeah. In our Spotify co-founders, Daniel Ek and Martin Lorentzen, announce that shareholders are children, and that's why they own about 25% of actual shares, but control 75% of voting power. Headline of the week.
Wow.
Spotify's HR chief says remote staff are not children as company reaffirms work from anywhere policy.
The best part about that is that was literally a joke that I wrote and then deleted because I was like, I just think I didn't know you wrote it, but I was like,
remember when Daniel Ek
in here
over the summer said that he's probably the least powerful person at Spotify? Remember how he said that? Now that's fun. That's fun.
Although in
the least powerful,
I think your headline is the accurate one. Like there are some children involved. They just happen to own all the shares. They're the ones that own the shares.
And our Boeing wishes it had Qantas's problems. Headline of the week. Qantas Airlines apologizes after R-rated movie played to passengers on Sydney to Tokyo flight. So the story is that every single TV was showing the same R-rated film. They couldn't. No one could figure out how to turn it off.
Yeah, apparently not even like the dimmer or power buttons work. And it was a film with nudity and like sexual content.
Look, I'm not a prude, But I do wonder why. Why do they have flights? Why do they have movies on flights with kind of awkward nudity and weird, like weird graphic violence? Why does your neighbor need to see that?
I don't know, but I do think
It's awkward. It's awkward.
This might have been Richard Goiter's parting gift on his way out the door. His chair.
Flying is like going to an R-rated movie with your parents when you're 12 years old, right? Because you might be sitting by some perv who's watching some, R-rated whatever.
How long before Glasscliff CEO Vanessa Hudson apologizes for every movie ever shown on a Qantas airplane?
Anywhere
Ever.
In what type of card do I buy for a patriarchy where 0.8% of CEOs are women?
Oh.
Headline of the week.
Where's Hallmark?
Women in Asia are slowly starting to break through historic barriers to the top of the corporate world. Now, that headline sounds promising, but I looked at the data. 0.8% in Japan, they're talking about Japan, is actually 15 CEOs out of I think it's 1,300 companies.
Said
what are we doing? What are we doing?
It said slowly. It didn't say fastly.
Beyond glacial. That's like the glaciers reforming, right?
We can hope. We actually should be hoping for that.
And lastly, in my first section, in our 3M board planning to drop commitment to reduce emissions across the value chain by more than 40% by 2030 by 2026. Headline of the week.
So confusing. I don't know what's happening.
The headline is 3M commits to reduce emissions across the value chain by more than 40% by 2030. But I think they're already planning to drop that commitment as a joke, right? Because now because it doesn't really matter what you commit to anymore. You see it all the time. Companies, they adopt DEI policies. They agree to use less oil, but they just change their minds, right? Who cares?
Should it be 3M commits to dropping commitment to reduce emissions across value chain by more than 40%?
How about all corporations commit to changing their minds if it involves black people, women, or the environment? How about that?
Just forget it. Just forget it. Just flip-flop on that.
It's just too hard. It's too hard.
Look, we have a client who asked us to look at, and we've talked about this before, but DEI U-turners, flippers, the flip-floppers, the boards that are now retracting all their DEI stuff. And I'm finding that half, compared to the null set of boards, half of the flip-floppers on DEI also have been on boards that flip-flop on climate commitments. They just flip-flop out on everything.
Which means what? That they're terrible people, or that they're spineless and they let the CEO do whatever they want?
Everything that's voluntary, they view as a
both.
Marketing exercise, and it's then no one cares about. So, great.
All right, this isn't very funny right now. Why don't you take it over, Matt?
It's hysterical. All right, let's keep going on the climate hysteria. In our keep the oily parts headline of the week. Big Oil urges Trump not to gut Biden's climate law. So apparently they really like some of the carbon capture funding that's going on because they have some things in carbon capture that's pretend they're using it. Oh, and also they like the oil subsidies that continue to be in there. The globally we're at $7 trillion in oil subsidies.
$7 trillion.
Yeah, globally. That's $7 trillion in oil subsidies.
Oil CEOs, I think, are actually the biggest contributors to the Trump campaign. I think out of all corporations, it's oil. I'm no one's surprised. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
In our, what if we call it outdoor air conditioning upgrades or enhancing nature's HVAC? Headline of the week. Most CEOs sticking with climate strategies, but changing how they communicate it.
Why?
KPMG survey.
Why? Who are we bowing? I know we're already bowing to that weird incel conspiracy theorist Robbie Starbuck by getting rid of our DEI policies at the corporate level. Toyota just announced that. But why? Why do we need to change the language on things? Who are we afraid of? I don't know. What are we doing?
Whoa, back up.
Yeah,
if I said to you, my company is working on outdoor air conditioning efficiencies, you'd think that was awesome.
Yeah.
If I said it was reducing carbon emissions, you'd think, What is that for? Right? Like I said, just think of that. Just that's the market.
I don't know if we need. Do we need better CEOs or do we need stronger boards? Which one would you pick?
I want people with the ability to twist language so that I'm confused constantly. That's
us. Come on, keep going.
In our dog rescinds promise not to pee on rug headline of the week, BP drops goal to reduce oil and gas output.
That's like the I forget the company already. We just covered a proxy where the compensation committee promised not to give the CEO a big bonus again. Congratulations, BP.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
It's nice work. It's tying a bow. In our board members everywhere shocked to find out they're just average using free flow analytics data headline of the week. 7 out of 10 employees dangerously underestimate or overestimate their skill levels. New analysis finds.
Can I just say that the first thought I had when I saw this headline was that this is sad, but that the people who are overestimating their skill levels are men, and the people who are underestimating their skill levels are women, right? I mean, unfortunately, isn't that unfortunately the case?
Okay, so here's some data. 74% of active directors have historically delivered between 40th and 60th percentile on TSR on all the boards they sit. They're basically right in the middle. They're a big fat middle, right?
Yeah.
Those directors tend to have the highest average age. They're all older, 62 years old. And they're overwhelmingly male at 73%.
So they're overwhelmingly
the
average
average
men. Yeah.
So this is old men.
So where does this talk of like recreating the meritocracy? What does that bullshit have to do with? What is that?
It's the meritocracy is average. We're recreating the average. That's what we're
Make
doing.
America average again.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. All right.
And then finally, until I go again later, in our Adam Newman announces WorkWe, a real estate co-working company, not to be confused with WeWork, the company he founded and bankrupted, because the work and the we are swapped. Do you see what he did there?
I fell for it.
Headline of the week. Adam Newman's latest project is a WeWork competitor.
Great.
He's created a company called Workflow.
Good.
It's a shared office real estate company.
Don't invest
not a lie.
Don't invest in it.
That's not a lie. Andreessen Horowitz must be readying to make its largest investment ever.
Horowitz switched his allegiance. He's no longer a Trump fan. He's switching it over to
Andreessen is
Kamala.
The one who's the Trump fan.
But
Horowitz.
Well, there's big news that it's an uncomfortable situation now. Switched his allegiance.
It sounds uncomfortable. Yeah.
And I just saw a headline out of Bloomberg. Diamond says that he's still undecided who to endorse.
Yeah, Jamie.
So Jamie Dimon, this guy knows everything about everything.
He has an opinion about everything.
He'll tell you like what kind of grass seed you need to plant if you're a millennial, but he can't tell like which candidate to support because they're basically the same person, right?
They're exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
All right, come on. Let's make this funny because none of this is funny. I'm getting depressed. Don't worry. Their independent board is there to ensure the company sticks to its not-for-profit bylaws. And, wait, never mind. Sam made those women look shrill. Headline of the week.
Oh, wow. Ouch.
AI expert Gary Marcus thinks OpenAI will be the most Orwellian company of all time.
Did Orwell have dual-class shares? Is that a thing? I don't like this headline.
No, I don't either.
But at least the OpenAI is going to be in my Uber, my next Uber.
This will lighten you up, lighten the mood a bit. The other three were Berkshire Hathaway board members with the last name Buffett, and they all said, "Pull my finger." Headline of the week. 7 out of 10 employees dangerously underestimate or overestimate their skill levels. New analysis finds. Yeah.
I like yours better than mine. I
like the fact that there are 3 people they're just like, I don't care. Like I come from generational wealth. Leave me alone. Who cares if my skills are underestimated or it doesn't matter? Where am I going?
Who's even estimating my skills? It's not even forget it.
I'm part of a family firm, you jerk. In our John Deere CEO John May says, we should go all in on getting rid of DEI policies because, quote, we are never going to get rid of systemic racism anyway, end quote.
Yeah,
Headline of the week.
said it out
Actually, he
loud,
might have said that. He might have said that.
That might be true, yeah.
Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt says we should go all in on building AI data centers because we are never going to meet our climate goals anyway.
That's the attitude. That's really, you know what? That's the human ingenuity right there. That's spirit of innovation.
What a role model. What a role model.
I think my kid asked for a Eric Schmidt action figure.
But is that what the CEOs and boards of these companies who are flip-flopping on DI are saying after? Isn't that really what they're saying? Like, we're never going to solve this anyway, so forget it.
But it would be nicer if they were saying that. What they're saying is Robbie Starbuck told us to. Like, so that's slightly
they're not really saying anything other than the fact that we're not going to support, like, anything. Like, they're not even saying why, right?
Yeah, they don't say why. They just, and then they reaffirm throughout all of their like announcements. They reaffirm that they love black people and they saw a gay once. They say that all the time.
In our Hey Ma,
oh yes,
are we supposed to be surprised when Japan ranked 125th out of 146 countries in the World Economic Forum's 2023 Gender Gap Index? Also, a Toyota Prius is a man's car. Like a Dia tractor. Tell Dad. Headline of the week. That was a mouthful, that one.
That was a lot.
Toyota follows growing trend of companies halting DEI policies initiatives. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
But I mean, really? That one actually surprised me. I mean, Toyota, they don't represent manly American products, right? I mean, isn't that more of like a liberal car, a Toyota?
Don't they make like
I was surprised by that one.
To like motorboats?
That's true too, but why Toyota? Why are they listening to this anti-DEI nonsense? That one actually surprised me.
Well, let's come to it later.
All right, okay. And finally, in my section, in our Olive Garden is betting $1 billion on unlimited breadsticks as a healthier carrot. Headline of the week.
It is healthier.
You laugh, but this headline is just as ridiculous. PepsiCo is betting $1 billion on tortilla chips as a healthier snack.
Yeah.
Healthier than what?
Well,
healthier than like what? A handful of like oil-covered gravel? Like I don't even. What is it healthier than?
It's healthier than gummy bears covered in meat sauce,
milk chocolate meat sauce. Yeah.
So it is. Healthier
Come on,
than
PepsiCo,
something.
you can do better than that. I really. That one's sad. That's sad.
Come on, it's healthier than something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That's
all
true.
right.
That's true.
Let's finish
this up. Come on.
In our correction, Toyota USA's all-male board asked Toyota's 86% male board whether it was cool to, quote, ditch the women and gay stuff because, quote, a guy on the internet asked us to, quote, end quote, headline of the week. Toyota follows growing trend of companies halting DEI policies and initiatives.
So they have how many? They have one woman on their board. Is that it?
Toyota
Two?
USA,
Yeah.
like the Toyota Motors USA, no women. No
Wait, so but this came from Toyota USA or came from Toyota?
It came from
the
Toyota
corporation?
Okay. But my guess is they probably had to call up Toyota corporate in Japan, where there's one woman on the board.
Again, I don't get this one. I don't.
That actually brings the total in the study that we're doing for this client brings the total to 108 board members who have cowered under their pillows with the idea that they might have to talk to the gay people they said they liked at one point.
Look, there's already too much like constant outrage in all media, but why are we the only ones who care about this growing story? Like this is like some sick stuff. Who else is covering this?
Like first of all, the Human Rights Campaign who set up. So they set up like a survey and an index that says like these are inclusive companies, and that's what Robbie Starbuck is using as a list to go after those companies. So I would be a little outraged if I set up an index to celebrate a good thing that some companies were doing that some internet troll used, and the companies listened to the troll. They didn't like Like that. I actually, Human Rights Campaign. You should call us up. We should give you our data because your index must be wrong. If these companies are willing to flip flop immediately,
Crazy.
maybe we need some new data points.
And again,
Maybe
they're not flip flopping to a campaign started by like Jamie Dimon or you know
Exactly.
what I mean. Like it's a creepy incel-y conspiracy theorist who lurks on Twitter. That's all he is.
It's a fucking guy. It's like one fucking guy. That's all
Yeah,
it
but
is.
not even a powerful, bright guy. Just like a schmuck, like a idiot.
All right. Speaking of
Come on,
idiots,
keep going.
in our white guy who heard other white guys say something about black people once apparently was not discriminated against. Headline of the week.
I'm already confused. Yeah.
BlackRock beats equity traders bias suit over ESG DEI policies.
What's that?
So there was an equity trader who worked at
Yeah.
BlackRock years ago. He was fired, and then he sued years later because he heard Larry Fink say something about diversity in a speech once, and he sued saying he was fired because he's a white heterosexual male.
No, stop.
Not
I don't
kidding.
even believe that. That's real.
That's real. And BlackRock
Wow.
won the lawsuit in part
All right, I can
because
applaud
it
that.
was years between when the guy was fired and when Larry Fink said the thing.
You want to hear something even worse? I didn't want to do anything Elon Musk today, but there's a story. So Australia has fined X for name it, right? Some horrible content
Yeah, I
aimed
saw
at
this.
children, but the X tried to get out of this fine. This is only a $400,000 fine, but whatever. They tried to get out of it by saying that they're not Twitter anymore, so they can't be right because because they changed their name to X, and the complaint was originally filed against Twitter, and since Twitter does not exist anymore, they can't be fined for it, even though they are Twitter.
Look, when
These are the
I-
children. These are the children running our world.
I robbed our local bank, and when I went back in to deposit the money I robbed, I was like, "No, my name's Larry now. It's not Matt. You can't."
Yeah, I'm not wearing a mask anymore, so
I-
it's not
I-
the
you
I'm not
can't
the same
possibly
person.
hold
I mean,
responsible. Like
unbelievable,
that was
unbelievable.
My money.
Keep going. Come on.
So I'm not sure I can protect democracy, social cohesion, or the self-esteem of young girls, but I definitely can turn this Porsche car into a minivan because miracles are possible. Headline of the week: Mark Zuckerberg redesigns Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT into a minivan for wife Priscilla Chan. Gets a 911 GT3 for himself.
Why? What's happening? Why are we reporting? You notice that
That's really the thing.
The last year of Mark Zuckerberg reporting has all been this. It's all been like the fetishy things he likes to buy. What are we doing?
It's his new T-shirts.
That's
it's
all
the
we focus on
chains
now.
he's
That's
wearing.
basically all we focus. And yet, when Meta or Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp does something horrible, they cite the company, but they don't cite Mark Zuckerberg as doing this.
I gotta say,
What are we doing? What are we doing?
This is a master class in diversion. But
do you think that Mark is responsible for this? Do you think that his PR people are putting these stories in the press?
I think Mark has figured something out. I think
he has.
I think he really has figured something
Maybe.
out. Okay, so we're ruining democracy. Well, wear a T-shirt. That's different. Okay, teen girl suicide is up. Oh, well, put on a gold chain. Let people talk about that instead. It's fucking brilliant. It's really brilliant. Good for him.
I think you're right because Elon's losing this because every
headline
since we started talking about Elon is basically that he's the devil. So Mark is smarter.
He's giving his stupid opinion. Mark is just he just turns a Porsche into a minivan, and we don't know what he's doing otherwise. It's brilliant. It's really good. All right, in our Dear Linda, I know you're the daughter of Vince McMahon and a Class 3 director at Truth Social, so I thought I'd come to you first. Are you really working with Tits Ass Millionaire 123 for a guaranteed investment scheme? Headline of the week. I haven't told my wife about this blunder, how Truth Social users are getting scammed out of thousands of dollars.
Wait, so Linda McMahon, who's not the daughter, it's the ex-wife, right? The wife of Vince McMahon?
Oh, that's right. Stephanie.
Is Linda McMahon really on the board of Truth Social? That's true?
Yes. Yeah. It's a classified board and a
Okay.
controlled company. I don't know why you have to be a classified board and a controlled company. What's the point? Like,
I mean, the two things that made me laugh about this headline is, first of all, of course, it's I haven't told my wife. I'm being heterosexist, but of course, it's a man on Truth Social, right? Like,
no, well,
are there women on Truth Social? Is that possible?
I don't think so. There are a handful, but I do think what I did. There was a second headline I almost combined this with, which was rich people are finding secret offshore accounts, and secret trusts to hide money from their spouses. Right. And I was like, isn't that the same thing? Like, I haven't told my wife about this blunder, and rich dude is like, I set up a secret trust to hide money from my wife.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I was on Truth Social in the first place, I would not tell my wife even that.
I know. It'd be embarrassing.
You know, there's also a Vince McMahon headline that we didn't cover, thank God, which was that he once tried to do a story. You know, they do wrestling plot lines.
Storylines, yeah.
He wanted to do one where he impregnates his own daughter. That's one of the ones that he wanted to do on Vince McMahon, former CEO of a publicly traded company there in Connecticut.
Well, didn't Elon Musk make a joke about impregnating lots of people?
Well, but Tesla does not have a board that can get rid of Elon Musk. Do they? Do they have a board at Tesla? I don't remember.
I heard that. I heard something. I think they have meetings. I think it's chipmunks that go.
Okay.
Whatever your politics are.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot by how you structure your company's board. If it's a controlled board with a classified board on top of it, that's multiple.
Means you trust nobody.
You literally want no.
You're
one
paranoid
to do
of the
anything.
entire world.
You hate everyone. It's just you. And finally, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, come on.
My favorite part is the last one. In our Vivek Ramaswamy sends Edge One Capital a letter saying "Finders keepers, nya 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 nya." Headline of the week. Edge One Capital sends letter to BuzzFeed demanding overhaul of corporate board and governance.
Nah.
Here's the excerpt.
Yeah.
Edge One Capital sent the letter with this excerpt. Quote, given its lack of relevant experience, it's unsurprising that the incumbent board has for years failed to hold its CEO responsible for destroying shareholder value. What we find truly extraordinary, however, is the extent to which the board has actively created an environment where Jonah Peretti faces no repercussions for poor decisions and is instead insulated from shareholder influence. Meanwhile, Peretti has dual-class shares with 64% of the board. He handpicks the board.
Well, can I tell you something else that bothers me about this story? Is that Edge One Capital, which is founded by a man named Varun Gupta, he has no website. There's no information about this guy. I can find nothing about this guy. Come on.
Actually, the headline here, Edge One Capital sends letter to BuzzFeed. The link is to something that a press release that Edge One Capital put out, saying that it sent a letter to them, and it's unclear whether or not they actually have any money at stake here. It's really just this whole thing is so dumb.
It is dumb. And by the way, Varun Gupta and Vivek Ramaswamy, no one's asking for BuzzFeed again. We don't need it back in our culture. It's okay. It's okay if it dies.
Yeah, literally no one is. Most people don't even know what it is.
Why doesn't Uber use BuzzFeed to help their drivers figure out what type of phone they should be using or something? Or I don't.
That's all we got. Let's end this nightmare of news. That's Hazelnut Rollis. I'm your analyst, Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. We will be back. I will be back on Friday, wrapping up the week, and I think we're doing a weird UK company this week for Proxy Countdown.
I don't think it is. I mean, I don't think it is a UK company. It's Parker Hannifin.
Oh, it's U.S. It's a U.S.-based company.
Well, we could change our minds.
We if you want to hear us dissect a company, send us a message, because you know how many messages we get.
The problem is that there aren't a lot of big companies doing annual meetings in the fall, but the next big UK company we're definitely going to cover on Proxy Countdown.
Until then, goodbye.